Okay, up next is Laura Smith. Hi, Laura.
Hello. Hi. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So I know quite a bit about your company anyway, because I've been inside Alaira, but maybe for the other people in the audience and people watching on the video, we'll show what it looks like and then start talking about it. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Just bear in mind that what you see on the screen may look cool, but it's so much better in 3D.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. It looks amazing. I think a round of applause for the software.
Thank you.
You're basically making science fiction real, it looks like.
Yeah, well, I often make a joke in some of my presentations that we're trying to make data sexy, and usually I have an image of Data from Star Trek on there, you know.
Yeah, that would be too big a task. I don't know, actually. I couldn't say. But yeah, so you build interactive, immersive data experiences.
That's right.
For people to gain insights into whatever data set.
Yes.
Their organization, the state of the world, whatever massive data set.
Absolutely.
That you can make visual like that.
That's right. So the idea of 3D data visualization and analytics, when people think of data visualization, they think of it as an end product, just to present information. Yeah. Whereas what we're trying to do is create a platform that is a collaborative and analytic and visualization all in one. So basically, 3D visualizations are actually the tools that you use to analyze the data itself. Right.
Yeah, so they're kind of a permanent thing. They're not something that you get at the end of a long process to look at and make decisions about. They're something that you inhabit regularly.
Yeah,
in the course of managing or
that's right.
Figuring out what to do next.
That's right. You can literally step inside the data, because the great thing about 3D visualizations and the technology in terms of virtual reality or even augmented reality, the power of that technology allows us now to bring in multiple data sets and put them together into one visualization. Mm-hmm. So whereas if you think about a 2D visualization, you've got 2 dimensions, maybe up to 4 dimensions within that.
And then it just gets too messy and too difficult to interpret.
Whereas with 3D visualizations, you can have up, 10 or over dimensions of data that we can display, but you can have multiple data sets within that. And the visualizations we have, which is the image that you see here, we can show sort of 20,000 data points per graph, and then within these spaces, you can have multiple graphs within that. And they're designed to make complex data easier to digest.
Yeah.
And so you literally, you would interact with it. You see it as a whole, and then you would go to it and you would break it apart and you drill down into the many layers behind it.
So a bit like that, in the video, pull Italy out and then all Italy's data suddenly
comes up,
emerges out of the
that's right.
The image of Italy for you to then look at in more detail or to compare individual data points with other countries.
Yeah, absolutely. The great way thing with visuals is that you can see trends within the data really quickly. So with 2D visualizations, we often have this issue with some of the software that's out there that you can sort of drill down into the levels of the data, but you can usually do it like 2 or 3 times. And each time you drill down, it changes the entire graph. With the technology like this, you can drill down into multiple levels, but you never lose sight of how the data's connected back up.
Because it's a physical structure. This is like what I find really fascinating, because you get an impression of the thing that you're looking at because of the way that you've interpreted the structure of the data in the first place, I guess. I mean, the environments that you create, they're bespoke for that data set, or are they made up of standard interaction modules that you put together for the particular kind of data that you're working with? Or how does that work?
At the moment, they're designed around the data that our clients give us. So we create the visualizations that are designed to be engaging because there's a thing in the market in terms of business, analytics and business intelligence that what they're trying to do is they're trying to empower existing staff with the ability to do analytics.
Yeah, so they don't need to hire expensive data scientists.
Yeah, but exactly.
That don't exist anyway, because there's too much demand. And not enough supply.
But the problem is not everybody's an analytics person or a stats person, so they don't really know what they're looking for. So if you can put it in a visual way that allows them to drill down and compare and contrast and sort of work with their sort of natural movements, then you're going to give them the ability to find information within that. So there was an example where I was doing a demo in Germany, and I had a client come up to the exhibition, and she was playing around with our customer analytics visualizations, and she was opening multiples of these out, and she actually spotted something in the data that we hadn't spotted. She spotted that customers that churned in this data had less contact points with the agent that was in this. But the customers that didn't churn had more consistent and frequent contact points, and then they stayed with the company. Now, the great thing about this was that we hadn't actually designed the visualization around that specific question. We hadn't programmed it to do that. It's just as a result of the way that we visualized it that she actually spotted that trend. Yeah.
When the data was presented in that way.
Yeah, and then you can look to make a decision based around that.
So it must take some time then to analyze the data sets that you're given by a client and come up with the most effective way of displaying it and manipulating it.
It does at the moment, yes. The whole goal of Alaira is designed that in the future we want it to be data components that actually create the visualization based on the data itself, so that we don't have to get involved.
So there would be standard components, so you know what this type of data is and what its range is, and therefore this particular interaction might be suitable for it.
Yeah, we're building a generic library of 3D visualization so that people can apply their data to that. But the ultimate goal is to create it so that the users themselves can create visualizations in the way that makes sense to them. So when you're in these environments, because it's collaborative, completely collaborative, you can have, let's say you and I are in there, you could be working on the same data as I am at the same time, but you could be asking a different question of it. So it's a completely agile environment.
But we could see each other and communicate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could be analyzing one data component, you could be analyzing another, and then once we get to that point, we want to present it back. Because it's in a visual way and because of the way that the customer has created that visualization, it makes sense to them. They can easily step through their C-level person or manager or whoever it is in the steps that they've taken to find that result and communicate it back easily.
So they can tell the narrative.
Yeah.
Where the insights come from.
Yeah, and anything that you see in a visual format tends to create an impact anyway, and most people tend to understand it a lot better when they see it rather than in text and numbers. So.
Okay. Do you want to talk about these
So,
images? Or?
Yeah, well, we can skip forward a little bit because I know we're running out of time.
Yeah.
So this is our team, and so we create what we're doing in Unity, just to answer that quick question, which is a great platform, and it's really good for the amount of dynamic components that we have. Brilliant. If you want to move on to the next one, because I can see the clock ticking down.
Okay. Got a few more minutes.
So this is the part of Alaira as well. So Alaira also is created for augmented reality. So the platform is actually cross-device.
Okay.
So we have virtual reality, which you saw in the video, which is the main immersive one that gives you the best experience and more dimensions of data. But you can, as a person, have your mobile phone and tablet and be in an airport or something, have the same visualization in front of you and interact with it and talk to the person who might be in virtual reality.
Right, okay.
So it's communication and collaboration across devices.
So if someone's in there, and just found something, they can share it with someone without them having to set up the whole HTC Vive surround.
Yeah, absolutely. And the technology is also moving forward anyway in terms of virtual reality, because you're getting standalone headsets now like the Oculus Quest, which are amazing in terms of tracking. So it's all, the whole commercial side of this is really pulling this forward.
Great. We are a bit out of time. I want to ask you those more questions about your clients and where you see it going in the future. So maybe just one quick one. Okay. What do you think the next 12 months holds for Alaira and...
The next 12 months, well, we're still developing, because we're at MVP at the moment, so we're still developing the future of the platform to be completely self-service. So we're hoping that in about a year, we'll be able to release that commercially. Okay. So we're still, at the moment, doing projects with our clients and visualizations bespoke to them. Yeah. And because it's a completely emerging market, everybody's still learning. Yeah.
But you're taking that learning and building it into the platform to launch as a commercial thing that
absolutely,
access. Well, wish you all the best with that. It's
really
exciting. Thanks very much, Laura.
Cheers, thank you.